this dress has been so long in the planning. You have no idea. I saw this dress, I'll put it up on the screen, or I can't point to it because I'm giving loves. And of Molly, if you don't know who this is, her name's Molly, and she goes by Scarlett O'Hare on YouTube and on TikTok. And my daughter and I are absolutely obsessed with her. We love her, and we love her wardrobe. So a lot of things that I want to recreate, and that is in my list of recreating things I see, are actually from her. So yeah, I've done so many patterns and so many videos trying to find the perfect pattern for this dress, and I found it. I'm so excited. One thing I am gonna do. Do you want to show the people? Oh, give it blessings. Oh yeah, good blessings. One thing I am gonna do is I'm actually gonna put a lace up in the back to tighten it. So I've actually cut out the watermelon dress pattern, my dark purple dress that I made a couple videos ago. That pattern, I actually made it a little, I sized up in the waist so that I'd have a little bit of cinching. And I'm actually going to, I cut this pattern piece, this is the back, and I just cut it like here, and then I'm gonna add seam allowance. And sew those together, like that. So that's the pattern modification that I'm doing to the top. I'm actually going to use pattern for Pirates gala gown, as well as their bishop sleeve pattern for the skirt and sleeves. I'm so excited. Now, here's where things get a bit dicey. Here's where my daring sewing adventures begin. I'm gonna do this beautiful see-through mesh. Oops, that's all bad. That's all the underside. Don't look at that. Don't look at it. I'm gonna do this beautiful mesh over top of this ecru satin. I saw this together and I was like, I have to. Here's the problem. The ecru satin, not stretchy. The mesh, very stretchy. Is it going to be a problem? Probably. Are we still going to do it? Heck yes, we are. Let's get into it. I'm going to cut all of the pieces out. Why do I do things I have no business doing as a beginner sewer? Do I get comfort? Oh, thank you. I have a vision in my head of what this dress is going to look like. I have it and I see it and I think it's so pretty, and I don't see it here yet, and that's very concerning to me. So I'm not going to cut the skirt at all until I have the top put together, and I'm confident that it's going to make sense in my brain. That's all I'm going to do for tonight, though. I'm going to overlay the other ones probably tomorrow. I have to go get some air facing, so I'm going to air face the lining anyway, and then put the bodice together and hope that it all comes through. I see it in my head. Oh, I'm so concerned. I have it all here, and now we're just going to size it up a bit. I think that's sewn in. I think that's a good size. So I'm just going to, with about that much for seam, and I'm just going to cut it there. And then what I'm going to do is just cut a bunch that size. Don't know why I keep looking at the light instead of the camera. I keep blinding myself. That's fun. I am working on a new studio reorg, which is going to be a video coming in the future. So just as things move in and out, just ignore them. My camera wasn't recording apparently. So what I did was I actually sewed these little pieces shut first. That way this was a completed piece. And then I would tuck it into the sewing and I would tuck my fabric under the needle, and then I would fit this in right under the needle on top of where my thing was, and then I'd sew over it. I don't pin them in because when you do, you get a lot of buckling in the fabric, and sometimes that can create some problems. So I like to just eyeball it and sew it, but it turned out really nice. Really nice. It'll be open like this, and then these will go to this side like that. And now I'm just going to trim up this piece and zigzag it. I think it's going to be still a little bit too big in the back, so I might have to trim the end pieces. However, where I'm noticing it is a bit too big is in the bodice here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch this seam allowance here, just a little closer up and hope that that fixes the problem. And then I can duplicate it on the other piece. That looks so much better. I'm still not sure it's gonna turn out nice. I'm still not sure I like it. I'm not sure it's gonna match what's in my head. I am really concerned about it, and I think that once I get the bodice done, 'cause I'm gonna cut the sleeves, I think, too, and put them on. And then once I get all that done, I think we'll really be able to see the sort of how it's gonna look as a whole. So I'm going to zigzag all these edges, and I'm gonna sew the lining, the neckline, all the way, sewing the lining to the bodice, all the way around, and then we'll iron it, and then we'll get the sleeves cut out. And see how that looks. I just kept taking it in, and it just wasn't doing what I needed it to do, so I just kept taking it in, and now that seam is too big. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it very close on the seam, cut it out, and then just zigzag the edges together. Just sew the edges together and hope that that works. I did great things. I did a good job. Oh boy, this is frustrating. It's so funny though, I only went up a size, and the size difference is wild. I ended up having cut a whole new centerpiece, and I'm hoping that I didn't cut too much out of the side princess seam for this to actually look okay. I would be really frustrated if I had to cut out a whole nother bodice, but I might have to do that. Oh, one day there's gonna be a project that just goes so well, and it will make up for all of these projects that were just gritting your teeth and fighting to the end. I have to cut out a new bodice and a new lining. At least the main pieces. I think I can salvage the back pieces, so that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna try and salvage these pieces here, and then cut new side pieces and another front piece, because this one will be fine. I just have to seam rip it out, which is why I basted it. I got it that time. What I'm gonna do is slim up the pattern piece of that front pattern piece, I think. No, I'm just gonna cut out the pattern and use it the way it was and not modify it all and do that, because that's what I should have done in the first place, was just left it alone. I don't know what happened there. I don't know why I felt the need to mess with it and screw with it and fix it and fix it. But that's on me. Let's cut another piece out and get back to this place. I have the bodice all done and zigzagged on the inside, and I hope it's gonna fit. I have no idea, but well, I got a little too overconfident in my adjusting skills, and now I swung the other way, where now I don't want to adjust anything at all. So hopefully it fits. But next I'm gonna put the sleeves in, and how I want to do the sleeves is actually with a French seam, because they're gonna be see-through. They are gonna be see-through, and I think that's gonna look really, really pretty with the top. I also got the skirt cut. I'm gonna sew it in 2 different layers, like a lining instead of as an overlay, because I want them to flow independently from each other, and hopefully everything goes together. But first, we're gonna start with the sleeves. So I'm gonna sew them. I'm gonna figure out which is the front and which is the back, and then I'm going to sew them up the seam, and then I'm gonna figure out how to do a French seam on a sleeve. Again, I've done it before. I did a mesh jet dress previously that I did seams, princess seams on the sleeve, so, but I don't quite remember how I did them. And I remember not knowing what the heck I was doing when I did them the first time, so as soon as Salem gets some love, we'll get into that. Why do I only have one sleeve? What did I do? How does that happen? Oh, I put it on top of the top. I have tried everything to get this to fit properly, and I think the problem is this seam here, the bodice seam right here, the princess seam. I think I'm gonna have to take this whole seam out and then re-sew it, which kind of sucks, but I'm not happy with it, and I want this dress to be great. This is a dress I've been looking forward to making for a really long time, so I'm willing to take the time it takes to take it apart and make sure that it looks exactly how I want it to. I can't even show you what's happening, but it's sort of buckling here, where it's like opening up, the seam isn't sitting flat, the other one's perfectly fine. So I know it's a sewing problem, not a pattern problem. I think it's actually the lining that's the problem, not the front. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna take out this whole princess seam and these pieces away from it too, and then sew them all back together. But I don't want to take the whole top apart, so I'm gonna try. Is this the way to be doing this? Probably not. The way to be doing this is probably just take the whole bodice apart, and if I have to do that, I will. Because I can't cut out a new bodice. I don't have enough pieces. Okay, so thankfully, oops, don't know what just fell, don't know that I care. I have that princess seam completely taken apart. So everything else is still attached. But here's that princess seam, and I'm gonna have to sew them, and hopefully they fall properly and that it sits right. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna sew these princess seams together. I'm gonna show you here too. This is one of them, and this is the other side. This is where it was pulling funny, so I'm hoping that this side will be fixed once I fix the princess seams, and that it'll all lay nicely, because I think it was the lining that was a problem. And then I will zigzag the seam again, and after I see that it fits. And then I'll get the skirt all put together, and then I will be back, and hopefully everything will fit. It's super dark because my filming setup is not done. My filming setup is not set up for my second channel, set up for our main channel. But I just wanted to update you that the seam still is buckling a little bit. It's like pulling weird, and it's not lying flat. So that's what I'm talking about when I say what the issue is. But I had to actually walk the seam back all the way up this sewing of the lining, because this mesh has to be completely pulled and sewn into this so that it lies flat. I'm not sure how it happened, but it's got too much material here, so I'm gonna have to pull it up and sew it a little. What I'm gonna do is, see if I can show you this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this fabric up like that and then sew it so that we can actually have like a tight piece of fabric, and so it's not like doing weird things anywhere. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I seam ripped it all the way up this seam, so now in order to close it, because I already have the sleeve in, I have to fold it over the seam. I actually did this in my purple and gray bustier that I made, my lace up bustier that I made in last fall. So then what I can do is, when I've got this all sewn around this sleeve, is I can just pull it out. So that's what I'm doing here. It looks like a little sausage. I borrowed my mom's serger, and we are gonna. To tell you that I'm a touch terrified would be an understatement. I'm not gonna bother changing the colors because no, but it's gonna be on the inside anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just gonna do it to the satin pieces. Okay. I don't know. Do I just... Oh, geez. Do I have to pick this up? Is this a foot? Does it lever? Does the foot lever? Oh, the foot levers. Oh, okay. Ah! That goes so fast. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Well, that went not good at all. Okay. No thank you. Not today. That is a not today Julie problem. That is a future. That's a future Julie problem. Bear with me, the lighting situation is gonna get a little weird. Beans! Hi! Oh, Rainy. I got the top all fixed, and then I got the skirt put together. And the skirt is really heavy. I'm a little concerned. The one thing I have to do is gather the skirt a little bit because it doesn't quite fit, which is what I want. The picture that I have in my head is a little bit gathered. So I'm gonna do that and then match the gathered skirt to the gathered bodice. And sew the skirt on the bodice, and then I'm gonna see how it looks, because right now I'm a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie to you, it feels a bit frumpy, and I'm not sure if that's just because I haven't got there's no room for you to go there. Do you see that? No room. None. Thank you. This project has been one of the hardest things I've ever done, which is wild because it's not that difficult, but here we are. I hope it's worth it. I have carrot hiccups. Bear with me. I get hiccups if I eat anything dry bread, carrots without like dressing. I made a terrible mistake. I did some troubleshooting on the sleeve, and what I ended up doing was doing a black elastic casing, and then taking that black elastic casing with the end sewed and casing it through the mesh, and it turned out actually really really lovely. Here you can see. So that's what I'm gonna do. I cut about, I don't know, 1.5 inch. And I'm just gonna sew it up, turn it, thread through the elastic, thread through the casing of the sleeve, and then I'm done the dress. So we're gonna do that.
Get me out of broken hearts and starting fights, turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run.
If you stayed this long, you get a little sneak peek of my studio being done, because I forgot to film this before I finished my studio. But here's the dress. I think it turned out exactly how I wanted. It was worth all of the pain. I love the sleeves. I love the lace up back. If I were to do it again with a lace up, what I would do is I would cut the front pieces the same size as what my measurements were, but I would cut the back pieces bigger. That's what I would do. But I love this skirt, and I love how the bottom half is see-through. It's so like perfect for spring and belting. I love it so much. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy the chaos, and we'll see you in the next one.
I keep on falling for you.